Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 46th episode of the Londonderry View. We are so happy to be here tonight. We actually have Neal White from WZID here with us. He stepped away from everything he has going on to be on the Londonderry View with us.
Honored to be here, by the way.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. This is
So
wonderful.
welcome. So TV compared to radio.
It's a lot different because
Yes.
in radio, I run all the controls.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
You
I'm
have no
not
control
used,
here,
I'm not
sorry.
used
You
to-
seem a little bit
Right,
like you're
I
not
have-
sure what you're doing.
Yeah, I have a
Got
control
nothing.
panel in
things
front
need to
of
be
me.
in front of them.
And I wear headphones so I can hear everything that's going on. So yeah, TV and radio,
Very
obviously
different.
very different that way. And it takes a lot more people, obviously, to put a TV show
Yeah.
on than a radio show.
Yeah.
What a good question, Kirby.
I wasn't even a question. It was just welcome to TV.
Yeah, no, thanks.
So,
That's
so
right.
tell us, how did you get involved in radio broadcasting?
Oh boy, I started in high school.
Oh,
We had-
wow.
We had a high school radio station.
That's cool.
And I always was a fan. My parents always listened to music, so I was a fan of music, and I was a fan of listening to the radio. So I just started there, and from there I went to school, and just started working in radio. It's a long time.
So tell us a little bit about the station you work for.
So 95.7 WZID. The format is called Adult Contemporary, and we play a lot of music that's very familiar to everybody. We don't break new music, but there's newer artists and
The
stuff.
new
you'll hear
music
that-
isn't important.
Depends on the
so.
artist. Like an artist like Ed Sheeran, you'll hear something
Yep.
sooner than some of the other bands.
Love me some Ed Sheeran.
WZID is the probably largest station, listenership-wise,
In the
in the
state.
state of New
Yep.
Hampshire. Yes.
Number one, it really is.
Yes.
More than
It is.
94.9 WHOM?
Yes. I take it that's what you
I
listen to.
figured. No, I don't. I just know it. Don't they broadcast from Mount Washington or?
Yeah, and exactly. So I think we probably both have the same. What they have power, so 50,000
yes.
watts.
But you
know,
have
that's
more
what it is.
listeners.
But as far as listenership,
You are much
and
more
that's it.
entertaining to listen to. There you go.
That
Well,
is
thanks for
true.
that. I can't
Yes.
say anything about the competition because I don't know them.
Oh,
'cause
yes.
I'm working at that time. But WZID. So, like I said, it's one of the biggest stations in the state. Use the word legendary. There's been some great people that have worked there in the past, and I was fortunate enough to come along 5 years ago and find my niche here.
Right.
And I think that's always tough too when you come to a new market and somebody new. I think the question I got from a lot of people was, am I going to like this guy?
True,
No,
it
it's true,
is. It
you know?
really is. And New Hampshire, I always say, is a little harder. It takes us a while to warm up and embrace them. Once we do, you're ours. Like you belong to us.
Right,
But,
and
but it's getting there.
Yeah. So and that's it. We found for the show a lot of love, which is great.
Yeah.
So-
Oh my goodness. And you and Marga are such a dynamic team.
Yeah, I work with Marga. It's been about 4 years, just over 4
That's
years.
awesome.
Yeah, she and I have been together, and we always, as soon as we met, we clicked. We just kind of played off of each other, and that's if you listen, that's what we kind of works for us.
And you guys are in the morning, correct?
Yes,
So
so-
it's weird right now because I listened to your voice. I'm pretty sure maybe this morning, and now
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hearing you here. So it's I'm getting used
I
to
was
it.
say, yeah, I had listened to the show when I was driving in this
Yeah.
morning.
So we started 5 to 10.
Yeah.
Really, the time we're just moving fast is between 5 and 9. And everybody says,
makes
why,
sense.
why so early? Well, you would be surprised at how many people are out.
Oh,
And
it's true.
Commuters.
yeah,
and
they're calling us. If we're talking about something, they're there. So it's.
So is like 5 the best time to call because nobody else is up, or
No, you say that, but like I said, no.
or you get the most callers
Well,
around those
it
hours?
starts right at 5, right out of
Oh,
the
wow.
gate. So as soon as we start at 5, there's a lot of people on the road before then. They say, "Can you start earlier?" I'm like, "No."
No, I'm still sleeping. So what time? So how do you guys prepare yourself for your radio show? Do you have a script you go based on, or do you kind of just wing it?
Yes and no,
Preparation,
both.
too, right?
Okay.
Both. So there is a lot of preparation that goes involved. We do a show every single day. So, 5 hours on the air, you have to
Yep.
come up with something
Yeah.
new. So you do have to know kind of where you're going. So what'll happen is, Margaret and I and, whoever else is part of the show, Holly Blanchard,
Holly, yep.
Miss New Hampshire
Yes,
2015.
she is. She's
Yep.
awesome.
She's recently joined us. So we all sit down and we talk about, and we share a lot of things that go on in our life. Recently we had
That's
a story.
wonderful.
Holly was at work and she was sitting there, and a coworker came in and looked up above her head, and there was a bat sitting there.
Oh.
So it turned into bat stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's something we hadn't planned.
One thing leads into another, which
We hadn't
leads
planned,
into
but before
another.
we went on the air with it, we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about it, so we knew what we were
Okay.
going to talk about. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's prep that goes in, and probably 50% is prepped, and we go with that, and then the other 50% is a slice of life, whatever happened in our life, whatever's relatable
That
to.
morning
to
or-
Sometimes it's so
whatever.
easy to talk like that, though. It's like just having a conversation without even realizing you're on air. So-
Exactly.
That's how
So-
you really are. That's how it appears, that you're just when Margaret was stuck with the 1 or 2 feet of snow,
Right.
and she couldn't get out of her driveway, and she had to be in swirling. Didn't you pick her up or something?
It was the other way
Sure,
around.
I
Oh, it was the
listen
other
a
It was the other way
lot.
around.
Yes, that's what
It was the other. Yeah, so
Oh,
here
that's
it
what
was. I
was.
went, plowed my driveway, get down to the bottom of the hill, and the road hadn't been plowed, so
Oh
I
my
couldn't get out.
gosh.
Well, it's a private road.
yeah.
So we couldn't get. The plow hadn't come by yet. So fortunately, I called her, and
That's
she came.
what it
I
was.
snowshoed out to meet her. And off she
That's
took me.
awesome.
Yeah, but that's like I said, that's
Oh,
a
the
slice of
stories,
life.
and you remember them because it's hard to remember, but those stories we remember.
People relate more to the personal life
Right.
stories than
They
they
do.
do like the scripts, the news
Right.
stories.
Right.
The
Whatever's relatable.
you
And
want
every-
to you want to have your coffee and hear how was this person's day?
Well, it's good too because when you're driving and you might be in traffic, maybe not, but you're driving down the highway and you're hearing these stories and the anecdotes, and I find myself giggling out
It's so
loud.
true, you're right.
And like you're talking about the she drove on the green at the golf course
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah.
Was that?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it's like that's the
But
sacred
you had that image in
spot,
your
the
head?
green-
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had the image, and I was actually giggling to myself in the car as I was driving to work this morning.
Yeah.
Just picturing this because we were recently in golf carts.
Oh yes,
So for Old Home Day.
Yes,
So
right.
so I was
that was
just.
terrifying.
But that was a funny story.
Yeah, so yeah, we were in a tournament yesterday, just to follow the story, and when you're playing in golf, if you know golf at all, the guys hit on one tee and the ladies hit on another tee. So we figured, well, we'd put Margaret and Laura, who was, they were going to go, so we'll put them in a cart, and I would be in a cart with my partner Teddy. So for some reason, Laura decided she didn't want to wait for everybody else and just took off. Had no idea where she was going.
She said she had a bad sense of direction.
Yes, and so she just took off, and we're like, all right, whatever. So we kind of played one hole without them, and finally caught up to them. And on one of the holes, we pulled up, and we finished the hole, and I went one way, around, avoiding the green, and she kind of went across the green.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That would be most of us too.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you're a
well-
woman and you're
Well,
not
no,
familiar with the golf,
But you kind
game.
of, I mean, I don't play golf, but you kind of know you're not supposed to go there
It's the reason why you park and then
and
walk
over to it.
And
I mean, I would, but
and then we were in the back going, stop, what are you doing? I said, what? But again, it's happened. So everybody has their story,
Yes.
their
Yeah.
golf story
Yep.
it is. They can relate to that. Or, the
Morning
bat in the
story.
house, or anything that,
Yeah.
happens, it's we share that.
but like Kathy said, you guys make people laugh in the morning, so you do a good job.
We have fun.
Yeah.
And I think for us, the way we approach the show is we're anti-news. We obviously
I
talk
like
about the
that
news.
too,
we discuss the
because
news.
you hear enough of that
Right,
They
we're-
are negative.
everywhere else.
We're your escape from the everyday
which is a
news. You know what I mean? We
blessing.
just,
Yeah.
everything. We know what's going on in the world.
Right.
We're so plugged in with our phones and our
Yeah.
computers and
Right.
everything that we're an escape. And if we can make you chuckle on your way to work and forget about what you have in your day ahead, then we've done our job.
So what has been, if you could pick your top memory from the past few years that you've been there?
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
Oh boy.
Put him on
What
the
is-
spot.
Yeah.
What
I mean,
is
there's
like,
so
or
many
you
things.
don't have to pick one, you could pick a few,
Well,
but
what I love about what I do is I get to be out in the community, maybe for charity events,
Yeah.
and things of that. I love that. Love meeting listeners and folks that come in, and getting a one-on-one with them. That's the best for me.
That's awesome.
We at the radio station we put on events, different events. We do one every Christmas for kids that helps out Waypoint, and we raise money for them. And
You're in the malls and
yeah,
collecting presents.
we're doing all that
and-
stuff, and that's great to me, and to see the kids who it helps.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that
Yeah.
really
That's
memorable
awesome.
for me. The golf tournament we talked about yesterday, that was helping another charity here in New Hampshire. So I love that stuff, and I love getting
Just
out
getting
and
out
meeting
into the
people.
community
Love
and
doing that
stuff.
stuff. We do another event. I don't think we're doing it this year, but the last 2 years it was called Art Jam. And that was another event that 2 years ago we closed down the bridge going across the Merrimack River, Bridge Street.
Oh yeah, Bridge Street.
And on one side, and we had local artists putting in there. We had performers. It was great.
Do you still do that? Or?
We did it again last year, and this year I think it's reworking. This is a rebuilding year, as they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another thing we do, and I love
That's
that
awesome.
stuff because in the end you get to see who you're
Yes.
helping
Yeah,
and who it affects.
Yes.
So that's the kind of stuff that I like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, memorable events. You screwed up on the air, or
Yeah.
something slides through that shouldn't have slid through. We are on a
Stuff
delay, by
happens.
the way.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it is a delay.
Now we are.
I was listening to another radio station. Don't quote me because I forget. It was some Boston station. I was in Boston this weekend for a little bit. And it was this guy who brought his wife in on the phone, and he said something that made his wife mad, and then his wife got mad on the phone, and I felt like I was witnessing like a fight. So something like that.
Which is entertaining
It
as
was
well.
Right,
very
right.
entertaining, but like the little slip-ups, like the fun little memories where you're gonna look back and be like, oh, that was funny. At the time, obviously.
It's funny you mentioned that when you hear that. I used to work in Boston for a radio station down there, and we did these prank phone calls.
Oh.
They were called nutcrackers. So
A lot of stations still do those.
right, they still
Yeah.
do them, and it was amazing. So say something would happen to you, Sherry, and you witnessed it. So you call us and say, hey, Sherry did this, whatever it may be. So we get you on the line. We call Sherry up and give her a hard time and get her blood boiling. And then at the end, we tell you, no, we're just
I already
joking.
had the idea.
We're not going to charge your credit card $10,000. And you're like,
Oh
But
yeah,
in
they
the
really
meantime-
they still do those.
Yeah.
I've heard those.
Yeah. In the meantime, your
funny.
blood gets boiling. Yeah. So we did that. That was a lot of fun. That
Because
was
you don't know it's a prank.
yeah. At the time, and it gets stressful though sometimes for us too, because
don't know how
you're
far
getting
to let it
stressed out.
go.
How do I
Yeah,
let
and
it go?
it's like, should I keep going with this
Yeah.
joke, or
How
should
far
I
can I
end it
push
here?
it?
How far do I
Exactly,
go before
exactly.
this person calls the cops on me?
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's what happened.
Yeah. Now they have one of the other radio stations has something called Misconnections. It's kind of like a radio dating now, where if you see somebody you like, you call and you give a description, then they try to find those people, and they all kinds of stuff on the radio.
102.5.
Is that what it is?
Country,
Oh,
yeah.
she listens too.
Country,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's
All the
like
radio stations have something different.
well, I think that's
Yeah.
it. I think everybody finds their
theirs.
niche and does their thing,
Yeah.
and if that's it, yeah.
So have you guys ever had a special guest or somebody that you have interviewed over the phone that has been a memorable experience for you?
Boy, we talked to a
I
lot
have
of
one
people.
memorable one.
Oh, who is that?
Was
I
it
wish I
you?
could remember her
Oh, that's
name.
Sherry. Yes. One of our 20 outstanding women. That's another event that we do.
Yes.
Like I said, that's when we get back to the charity
Oh,
things
which,
that we
you
do.
know, and it's women that normally wouldn't be recognized. That's what makes it so special.
And they're
is
nominated by their family members or
Various
coworkers,
people, yeah.
and that's what
It
was
really
special.
touches
That's
your
our
heart.
was my
That's
introduction
awesome.
to
That's
Sherry.
how we met, and
Yeah.
which is. But there was a woman, and it was probably a few years back now, and she was on national TV for cooking, but she cooked in her home, and then she actually was on one of those chef competitions, and you kept following up with her, and you could tell she was an older woman that never really thought she'd have this celebrity.
Right.
Oh, it was wonderful. But what was
I
that?
think she was on like the show Worst Cooks in America.
Yes, it was. That's
And she was local, so she made it to that
Oh,
show.
that's what it was, because she said she couldn't really cook anything.
Right, she
That's
couldn't
right.
cook, so things
that's
like. But
a
that
show.
to me, that's priceless, though.
I felt
okay?
like
Yeah,
I
see
knew
something
her. I
fun
felt
like
like I knew
that.
her listening.
And we've talked to a lot of celebrities. Nobody's coming to mind right away. But this, and when whoever's popular at the time, we'll talk to them.
Governor Sununu was on
Yeah, well,
many
he's
times.
a
many
friend of the show. He
times.
comes
Yeah.
in.
No, we've
that's
had
memorable.
Governor Sununu.
Oh, we have to, yes.
Yep.
My old boss.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you talk to a lot of the celebrity type,
Yeah.
and they're just like you and I. They've got a life and they do the thing.
But I
they
don't
do.
think you realize to us you're a celebrity. Like what I couldn't believe with WZID was, I would never send an email or make a call any radio station, and from the time. But if I send an email to WZID, even before us, us meeting, and you get a response almost immediately. I mean, it really makes you feel good. If you call it, I know you can't take every call, but there's that human factor because you really are New Hampshire celebrities to us.
right.
Like
And
coming into this little show, which
Right.
is a complete volunteer thing for you to be here.
I know, right?
We are working on President Trump. He hasn't responded yet.
We are working
Yes,
on
but,
that.
yes.
And the thing is, I look at it. I respond because, to put it, you're my customer.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
truly, right,
Our
yeah.
listeners, the customers, you're calling me on the phone. You took the time out of your day to reach out to me. So I feel it's my duty to,
Reach back out.
well, to talk to you and give you, whatever it may be you're calling
that
about.
Pick up and, it means a lot, though. It's really what New Hampshire's all about. And,
I always
you
get
know.
frustrated when everyone has free tickets and they tell you to call and you're constantly busy signal,
yeah.
and I've never won anything.
It's tough. It's, you know how many times
Someday,
I've had people
someday.
say that? I've never won anything. Well, they won.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I know,
but,
right?
Yeah, and it's tough because you got to think, if you're driving in your car, how many other of you are out
yeah.
there?
But now it's also the hands-free law. How many people
Yeah.
can actually, people who don't have Bluetooth pick up their phone
Right,
and
you can't.
dial? And,
Can you
yeah.
tell when a lot of calls are coming in on a contest, or do you just see the one that is the fifth caller?
Right, no, we have
can
phone lines
really
that
see
light
them
up,
light
and
up.
you go through them all, and
Wow.
Very cool.
and it's well, like I said, you've been in the
Yeah,
studio,
it's fascinating to
yeah,
see.
it's different. Like I said, obviously than television because I'm in control of everything.
Yep.
And you're
Who's going on
standing
the air?
most of the time, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're
I stand
standing,
up.
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable that way.
And like a computer screen or a monitor in
I
front
have
of
5
you.
monitors
yeah.
in front of me, so whatever it may be, I may be recording a phone call over here or playing an interview back over here. Here's our next song or commercial,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. Here's the internet over here, what's going on with that. So, I stay plugged in all morning long.
That's awesome. So do you guys have a Facebook page where people can follow you guys? And
WZID Manchester,
Oh, that
that's our
makes sense.
Facebook page.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we're lucky to have that one.
Yeah, that's
WZID
awesome.
Manchester. So we have that, and there's a lot of interaction. If we were talking about something on the air, like your bat story that we had this morning, we put that up. Do you have a story about whatever happened, and people share their stories.
Well, if you need some people to fill your time, we
Oh,
would
sure.
love to come on
Sure,
air.
anytime. We love guests.
I know.
Yep.
Yes, that will be something
no.
for you to see because we were just in awe of being in there and how welcoming everyone was too. It's just and that just interaction, you just get drawn into it, so you're not nervous anymore.
And that's it, because most people are not like us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that have a little bit of experience behind a microphone or anything like that. They're nervous. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't want to talk about myself. So
That was us on our first show, I think.
We're like,
Our first, we all
like
sat here
so
real
awkward.
stiff,
We're all like,
and when they turned these lights on the first time, we were like,
our eyes
"Whoa,
go like this.
I need my sunglasses."
Right.
And then we're like, what should we talk about next?
Oh, yeah, that was
So it's
right.
like,
and that's-
we felt awkward.
And obviously, so what we're doing here is kind of like what we do on the radio.
Yeah,
We're having a
yeah,
conversation about,
conversation.
and that's it. And if you can be part of it, that's a good thing. By the way, your hair looks beautiful.
Oh,
yes,
thank
it
you.
does.
I went over to Professionally Yours before I came, and Jason did it tonight.
Very
so-
nice.
And
Nice.
Yeah, he
Jason,
did a
the
real
owner,
nice
did
job,
it.
yeah.
That's and they actually had us over at their shop, and for Christmas about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
we looked great. Boy,
Ah.
we had fake
Hair.
eyelashes, Kathy and
Hair
I.
and makeup, yeah. That first time I ever
Yeah.
wore false eyelashes.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
They
oh
were
my
putting
God.
them on you too. You're like,
And
I can't see.
That was funny. I think about
Oh,
Sherry
it
and I
was
with the
so
glass
great.
blinking her eyes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was great.
It's funny when you mention the salon. When I first got into radio, commercial radio, I was just out of college and my first job. And one of the things they were doing, they wanted to tie in with the salon. So they got me this nice haircut and everything. And they wanted to give me away. There was a big ball that was happening in town. So they wanted to give me away or, get a date with me. Here's this young single guy, 23 years old, So, so we put up pictures out there, and this is, real before the internet and all that stuff. So, there was pictures in the paper, and people signed up, and I'll never forget this because, I saw all the names that went in, and you could, and they had the ages and stuff like that, and just it's a random draw. I said, please don't pick that name. Well, what name got picked? The oldest woman that went in. Now look, she was a lovely lady, but I'm
So where'd
22
you take
years
her on
old.
her date?
So no, we went to this ball. It was a charity ball that happened, and it was so funny. So I had this
she
rented
probably
tuxedo.
ate that up.
Oh, exactly. Rented tuxedo. We're in a limousine, and I felt like I was out with my grandmother, but that's just the thing. That was an event that was memorable
Yeah.
for me.
Oh,
Yeah, and I bet it was
cool.
very memorable for her.
Oh, sure. I mean, we had a great time.
She was out with a young guy,
Oh, yeah.
to a very dressy event.
Isn't that
Yeah.
great?
We didn't dance though.
You didn't
That was off.
dance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny when we were just talking about the salon and all
yeah,
that
with
just
all
sparked
that.
that memory. Yeah.
That makes you feel good.
And I think what happens too with what we do is, we're constantly moving forward, not looking back with what we do. What's next? What's next? That's
Yeah.
our line of
Yeah.
work. What's next? So you may say to me, hey, the other day we were talking about.
This and this, and you might
No,
not
if you
remember.
say what it is,
true.
I'll say, oh yeah, I remember that. If you say it was about 8 o'clock,
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll have to look at my
What a
notes.
good
Yeah.
point. That's true because you are constantly.
What's next?
Constantly
What's
going
next?
forward, yeah.
What's next? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So any topics for tomorrow, even though this will probably be broadcast a couple weeks from now, but
Yeah,
I like that. What's next?
yeah.
She's writing them down.
Yeah, I like
You
that.
know, it's
What's
interesting
next?
for us. You know, the kids are back at school. We're heading back
Yeah.
to
Oh,
school.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
So
Next
for
week.
us, the topic is, you know, you got to get your kids back into the routine. What do you do? You know, they have to go. You know, they've been summer. They've been up
They've been
later. So
sleeping
so
late in the
the
morning.
scheduling
Right.
of
How to
that.
get them back into the swing of
Exactly,
things.
how to
Yeah.
get them back, what to do, get the routine started down, and you know, so we'll cover some of
Right,
that stuff. Yep.
interesting.
We have sleep experts that come on and we talk about that. That's one thing we do. We try to find experts. So we'll talk about, you know, flu season's here. So we'll
yes.
get, you know,
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
up. So we'll have a doctor on that talks about why you should get your flu shot.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and
A
that's-
lot of good information like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah,
And it's quick. It's not like it does, you don't have to be on for 20
You're not dry. It
minutes.
doesn't
Yeah.
dry.
No,
on.
Yeah, which
exactly.
is- yeah,
and
which
you know, we
is-
always, if we do an interview with somebody, we put it right on our website too, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
available right
which
there if
is-
you miss it. or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
But so that's you know, some of the stuff that we're looking at now. We talked about earlier today. A lot of folks have freshmen first year of college.
Oh yeah.
What to expect from the kids, you know, and you know.
Party.
Well,
Yes.
just when you see the dorm after you set them up, don't expect it ever to look the same.
The same way. Yeah.
You know, if you're in college, you know what that's all about, and you know, piles of laundry and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
expect, you know, after the first year, you get an adult, a young adult back. It's not your kid anymore.
No.
You know.
No,
So that's some of the things we talked about,
Yeah.
and then other parents would call in with some advice, you know, and,
Yeah.
or stories about, you know, what happened to their kid in school. So
what to watch
That's
for.
cool.
What
yeah,
to,
so that's that.
But
you
yeah,
know,
I like the fact that you guys sway away from the political,
political
news,
nonsense, yeah.
all that stuff, and
yeah,
it's refreshing.
It's very polarizing, obviously, the
Yes.
political
Oh, yeah.
stuff, you know, and I don't think real people care about, you know,
Right.
my opinion
Not right.
or whatever. No,
Oh, no.
or, you know, who, you know, they don't care.
Yeah.
But obviously, if something happens, you know, that we need to talk about, we'll talk
Yeah.
about it, you know.
But you don't make it a priority.
No.
Which is nice.
No, definitely not.
and the traffic updates are a huge help.
Holly does,
Yeah,
yes.
the Holly, because
Yeah.
that is helpful, you know, like around
Holly's
our little
awesome.
world. It's
Well,
nice to-
and you know, it's funny because people on the road are our
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh,
you know, and so we'll hear before we'll maybe see it on the map or
Yeah.
you know the DOT.
oh, they call in.
Oh yeah, so people call us and let us know. They'll
If there's
tweet
an
at us. Yeah, if
accident,
there's an accident,
or,
yeah.
wow.
We usually know it, and we just make sure that it's
Yeah, I
happening.
was going to
'cause-
say, do you verify
Yeah,
so you're not
exactly.
constantly
Exactly, 'cause, you know,
reporting
Right.
accidents?
Kathy
where
could call
there
up and
aren't
say
some?
something, and you know, I was like, "What are you talking about? It's smooth sailing over
Yeah.
here." You know?
I'm telling you.
So that's exactly what, you know,
Very
so
cool.
that's it. And that's important to us. That's
Yes.
what makes it
Yep.
separates us
Yes.
from a
Yeah.
lot of, because we're local. A lot of companies, you know, we work for a company that believes in live and local. So we're live all day long.
That's
so
awesome.
that's you know,
That's awesome.
where a lot of stations, you know, during the midday, maybe just pre-recorded.
Sometimes put on old shows.
Yeah, or just
or
pre-recorded.
anything.
Somebody
Or
just from
recording,
wherever records it, and you know they'll maybe do 2 or 3 different stations, whereas we're live. You know.
Yeah.
So.
The whole
So
time.
do you guys pick the Do you pick the music, or is that a
No,
separate?
and that can we just say what
that-
what camera is on? Is it this camera? We do not pick the music.
I didn't know if you picked the.
I
I
would've
wasn't sure.
thought-
If, like,
I always thought
know,
you did.
No,
You pick the music. I was going to ask how you pick
Is
the
it
music.
computerized?
Or is it
Right, everything's
computerized
all
playlist?
music is on computer, but we do have a person that's their job. So they figure out when we're going to add
That
a
would
new
be a
song
fun
to
job.
us,
Oh my
and
goodness.
schedules the music.
Yeah.
And you know, in the morning we don't play as much as the rest of the day,
Yeah.
obviously, because we talk a little bit more. But yeah, so somebody picks that for us. So it's they make sure that same song didn't play at the same time yesterday. You know, that's the stuff, and it's easier for us. The same thing
Yeah.
with commercials.
Yeah.
We have somebody that programs
Totally
the commercials
separate.
in just to make sure you don't have 2
Entity.
car dealerships or 2
Yep.
doctors running
Yep.
back to back.
Right.
Yep.
So that's that's
nice.
some of
That's
the
a
things that
great
go into it.
question. I
Okay,
really
I wasn't
naively
sure, 'cause,
thought
you
it
know,
was
some
you.
stations
So
they
you thought
do
he was
have
just
the.
saying, "Oh, we're
Oh,
going
I-
to play this song next."
Well,
I
but-
then you
really
played the
did,
song,
or
yeah.
someone could call in with the, you know, like,
A
oh, can you?
request.
I really thought that it was you and Margaret doing that.
Yeah,
That's
no, we would
interesting.
believe me. I would.
Do it in a heartbeat.
And then sometimes there's some
Stuff
songs, and
I-
I think,
Yeah.
I wonder if they get tired of hearing that song, or you know,
and
they're
know,
all
what's-
great
what's
songs,
funny,
so they're upbeat.
You say that though, but a lot of times we're too busy to even listen.
Oh, because while the song's on,
we're
you're
either
doing
recording
it.
a phone call or
Oh,
getting
that's
something
true
else
too,
ready.
right,
Or
yeah.
Talking about the next
moving
step.
forward,
Moving
exactly.
forward.
What's next? So
That's your
usually,
3 minutes.
and what's funny is people who are managers and they come in and
Right.
everything will be quiet in the studio while we're recording something, and they're like, "Are we on the air? Are we everything? Are we still on?" And they get nervous about that because we keep it quiet in there. But I see the meters are moving, and we're good.
Yep.
We're good. But it's like I said, we're constantly moving forward, and the music. If I could play, sometimes I sneak in stuff that maybe I won't play a full song, but I'll say, hey, here's. I don't know if you heard what Ed Sheeran's doing now, but listen to this. This is a rock and roll song that Ed Sheeran's doing.
So if I hear Ed Sheeran, I know it's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
is that
Maybe you should play some
interesting?
High South.
Oh, High
South.
South, they were phenomenal. They really
Now
were.
tell me about High South. There's somebody that came recently.
From Nashville, 3 amazing songwriters, voices, and
Their
more
music was
importantly,
incredible.
and they really believe in
harmonize.
harmony and celebrating the good, the positive,
Yeah.
being kind, love harmony. They were wonderful.
They write a
so
lot of their own
peaceful.
music.
Yeah.
And their new song is Make It Better.
Make It Better.
Make It Better. And the words, and if you get a chance, everyone out there too, I'm glad
Sure.
you brought that up, Kathy. Watch that video. It's on YouTube, and Make It Better by High South. And there's pictures of Gandhi and all different kinds of people in love.
And that video of
and
that
Martin
particular one.
Luther, and Martin Luther rather. And it just takes your breath away and just reminds you of all of us working together. But yeah, they were phenomenal.
They-
I keep
their
having
music is incredible.
They
Yeah.
did a special performance for us after we had our interview. They sang that song honestly.
Oh.
So like that one has been stuck in my head lately. Keeps playing over and over.
Oh, my
You just have their CDs in your cars jamming out.
yes.
Signed copies.
It's so true. And they were so down to earth.
They
were.
were
And
very
they just
down to
they'd
earth.
just gotten back from Europe doing a huge
Sure.
tour there.
They're going back to Europe.
Yeah.
Do another
So they're
one.
just kind of waiting for that one break. And,
Big break.
One of them
Could be
said,
WZID. You
Yeah,
never know.
so you never know.
Yeah, you never know. It's too bad. But they said you have to put 10,000 hours in, they've heard, to kind of make your break.
Sure.
Yeah.
So and
Sure.
they're just, it's kind of like the local politicians and all of the coming and shaking hands. Like at Old Home Days, I was noting that how many people that I hadn't heard of, but they were coming into the crowd and really taking that risk of,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, hi,
personal.
how are you?
I
Yeah.
thought, wow, there's really something one by one by one. And that's what they're doing. They were on our common little, not to say little Londonderry, but storm coming and all, and they were there as though they were in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
great,
they have
great
been in
group.
front. Didn't he say
Yes,
the
that's
largest
yeah.
crowd they did was 10,000?
That's exactly
In
right.
Europe,
Yeah.
so-
You have to start somewhere. Right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But they were great.
But they have a great message. So
Yeah,
it'd be
they do.
nice to,
And that's the thing. Everybody says, well, what's your favorite music? Well, I like all music. I can find a country song I like.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can find a rock and roll song I like.
Yeah.
I can find anything. So I don't fall into any genre of music. So
Right.
when you say High South, I'll give it a listen.
Right, there you
Yeah.
go.
And it's that's it for me. I love
They
everything.
do a good
Oh,
job.
that's
Yeah.
really nice. Okay, so on that note, are you musical? Do you play piano or sing? I have nothing that way at all.
I was gonna say, I have
Stop
nothing
it.
to
I
offer
heard you
that way.
sing in your office.
What's funny is, my younger brother plays guitar, drums, everything. He's very musical. I love music, but I can't read a note of it or play it. I tried the clarinet when I was young, just because we had one in the
I
house.
played that in high school too.
Oh, yeah.
I caught my tongue on reeds all the
Oh, yeah.
time. Oh yes, I played in high school for
I
3
think
years.
I had the neighborhood dogs in my house every time I practiced.
yep.
That was terrible.
It was a lot easier than flute. That's why I played it. So
I took
the
piano
flute was
lessons.
too
Oh,
much.
you
Piano.
did,
Can't
Kathy,
play a
did you?
thing.
Wow.
Can't
So what a
play a
group
thing.
we are up
Yeah,
here, huh?
I had a piano in my house. I would just,
Yeah,
I would mess
banging
around
on
with
the
it, but
keyboard.
But yet, like my brother can just sit down and play, but never had a lesson. He could just play.
Oh my god.
I chopsticks maybe.
Yeah.
isn't that always the way, though? I don't know, but I grew up around music my entire life. No, my parents
Yeah.
weren't musical, but my father loved, like the big band ear
Right,
music.
oh, my
So
dad
he would
too,
play that
yeah.
full blast, and so I always remember their old record players, putting music on and blasting that as a kid.
I
and-
can't say I remember that.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
Oh my goodness. That's
Record
Before
player.
right
What's
there.
a record
well,
player?
you mentioned CD player in
Yes,
the car.
I
said,
did.
who has a
So
CD
now I'm
player
like,
anymore?
nobody
Now
has CD.
nobody's got the cars
What about
don't have
cassette
CD.
players?
No
Nobody
cassette.
has cassette
Nobody's
players
got
anymore.
I don't have
What was
a
it called?
CD player.
Super
It's called
8s or-
Bluetooth
Eight-track,
and
yeah.
Eight-tracks,
aux cords and all that stuff.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine the kids nowadays they'd be looking at an 8-track and be like, what is this thing?
Right.
What do you do with it?
But vinyl is making a comeback.
It is.
Always.
Yep.
Good. So when I started in radio, we would put records on a turntable, put
That's
a little
awesome.
needle on it, cue it up.
They're going
my
for a lot of money on
gosh,
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would do that then, though, like then
Oh,
you
yeah.
would pick the
Yep.
music and.
Yeah, well, again, it was pre-programmed, but I would have to go get the record, put it on.
It wouldn't be
Can't
like, look up
imagine.
iTunes, let's play this song.
Right,
Yeah,
or,
it's
or
not
anything, yeah, iTunes
like
or
the
whatever,
computer
yeah,
generated.
everything, on your hard drive, you can hold the entire
it's
collection of music
crazy.
in the world, on one hard drive, so.
And in a relatively short span of time, it's changed so much. It just seems like.
It will continue to change.
Crazy,
Moving
yeah.
forward, it'll continue.
Yeah,
to move
Exactly,
forward.
moving forward, look at your phone.
forward,
I
yeah.
like that. I
Oh.
like
What
that.
that holds.
I just got an iPhone and now there's a new one coming out.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy.
So there's, is it the joke of the day? And there's
Oh,
a
we
little
have,
girl.
Abby's joke of the day.
So is she someone's daughter? from
So,
the
Oh, you
station,
were
or-
asking
a
about
friend of mine who I used to work with in radio, it's his daughter, and he, still works in radio down in Boston, and he just started having her do a joke a day, and I heard it, and I said, oh, you have to send that to me. So we started it, and now she's on, I think, 40 stations across the country.
Is it the same joke with every station? Okay, that's pretty
So
cool.
she does a little intro as, hey, this is Abby with the joke, 95.7 WZID joke of the day.
Wow,
She gives her a
she
little
does that
joke,
before.
and I'll maybe repeat the joke and say what
Yeah.
it is. And then she gives us the punchline. She goes, all right, now back to Neal and Margaret,
Oh my
95.7
gosh.
WZID.
She's got it made.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's great.
Got it
Oh,
made.
she is
That's
so much
awesome.
fun. And,
That's
she
so
has, it's little jokes, and
Yeah.
we have teachers that listen. They'll write the joke on the board.
Yeah, that's cool.
And somebody said, oh, I missed the joke this morning. What is it? Because I need
it's
to
the
tell it to my
tiniest little
coworkers. It's a little thing, but it's
that
one
makes a big impact.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how old is Abby?
Abby just turned 11.
Oh my
She's a
gosh.
young, oh, she's definitely
I was
got it
afraid
made.
to ask, like,
But she
when
started when she was 7.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
Should have thought of that way back when they were
Right.
How is
7.
that?
And exactly, so you talk about with the technology
Yeah.
for recording and how do you send that out back long ago. Now she just records it on the phone,
Yep.
saves it, sends it in the email, we all get it.
Oh
It's
my
how
gosh.
easy it is, and I put it together in the morning and off you go. Listen
Now
to the
I'm
joke.
still picturing
That's
as
so
you're
easy.
describing it that Abby is calling in, you're
Yeah.
picking
Yep.
it up,
Yeah.
you're on your cell phone, but it's all recorded.
All pre-recorded. And
Oh my
she'll come in
gosh.
sometimes, once or twice a year, she'll come in for a visit and she'll do the joke live.
Does she do that? These are her own jokes?
Yeah,
Or
she gets
are
them
they
from
ones
everywhere.
She gets from
she
other
finds
places?
them everywhere.
Oh,
People
that's
send them
awesome.
to her.
Yeah.
It's fun. That's one of my
That's
favorite
cool.
parts too, because she'll have a joke and somebody will call in with their joke.
Yeah.
Share this one with Abby, will you?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
is
that's
that
awesome.
great though?
She's a little celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
she is.
that's
She definitely
awesome.
is.
It
It's a lot of fun.
really is,
I hopefully her voice doesn't change when she's like 17.
Yeah. People won't recognize Abby anymore.
Hi, this is Abby with today's joke.
yeah.
Doesn't work quite as well.
No.
Because voice is so important in radio, though it really is. Because I mean, you have an amazing voice, Marga. I mean, just it's a gift to be. It's like singing, really, as much as we're kidding about not being musical or not singing, but to have a voice that you know how to project and that
And
you
it's
embr-
pleasant to listen
pleasant
to.
to listen to.
It's not some
Not
Yeah.
nails on a
Yeah.
chalkboard.
And you
Yes,
also
right.
pronounce appropriately. It's
try
not
to.
like it's not
how
like
did you do
talking
that?
1,000 miles an hour, not
Right.
understanding what somebody's saying.
Right.
So.
And when I grew up, right outside of Boston, the worst accent, no R's,
Oh, that's
or where there wasn't supposed to be an
Yeah.
R, there was an R.
Yeah.
And fortunately
Yes.
for me, I never really had it bad. I never had a bad accent. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I just lucked out. My mother
You don't
has
say
it. my
park the
brother-
car in the
park the
garage.
car, nope.
you just never
Park
picked
the
it
car.
up.
I never really had it that bad. So fortunately for me, that worked out. But and there used to be a time where you had to have a great radio voice to be on all the time, and now you just have to have a personality.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
that
you have
you
to
The personality
say that.
definitely.
That's
obviously you don't
right.
want to sound like nails on a chalkboard,
Yeah.
but you have to have a personality,
Yeah.
and sound halfway decent.
Yeah.
If you order to people.
And
but-
people then get to know your voice and
right,
are,
right.
But he does have that
He
radio
does,
voice. When
he
you
does.
listen on the radio,
Yeah.
you've got like what I would say a radio voice.
Yes.
It's
You
a good
really
thing.
do.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah, very
appreciate
good.
you coming on and spending
Oh, well,
time on
thanks for having
TV
me.
with
No,
us.
this is
Yes.
great.
Yeah,
This is
it's,
weird because I don't
and-
feel like I can shut the
Yes,
microphone
yeah,
off or
so
no
fun.
control.
Just sit back, relax, and
Next
talk.
song.
Yeah,
Next song.
Yeah, next song. We
thank you
should
so
end
much.
with a song now.
Oh,
You can
we
pick it.
should. We really
Ed
should. That's a
Sheeran.
good idea.
Yeah.
Put an Ed
Oh, I
Sheeran
like
song
that.
on.
And on the blue screen behind us, we'll put some pictures of you in the studio
Yeah.
so that
Sure.
people can kind of see. And special thanks to WZID for having you
Yeah.
and Margaret on because, boy, you really have become the voice of New Hampshire
Yeah,
for
we
the
do.
morning
Make sure people
radio.
listen in the morning.
New Hampshire in the
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, absolutely, and support the local businesses and
Yeah.
the local charities. So it's all good, and we can't thank you enough. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, and Kathy, your hair does look
great.
It does. It's
Thanks
shining.
to Jason,
Jason
at
at
Professionally
Professionally
Yours.
Yours.
Shining.
Yes, he made it really nice.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. Good night, and we'll see you next week, actually, for another program of the Londonderry View. Thanks. Good night.
New Hampshire in the morning with Neal and Marga.
Hey man, this job is too dangerous.
On 95.7 WZID.
New Hampshire in the morning, 95.7 WZID. You had a comment about why only 7% of women like bikinis?
Maybe there's only 7% of women that like to be in bikinis because of the 90% of men who like to see them in the bikini.
The ogling eyes, that's what it is.
Yes.
Exactly. What are you doing making sense of something like that?
I know it. Huh?
Exactly.
On a Monday, even.
Exactly. That's true. Well, make it a good Monday. It's New Hampshire in the morning, WZID.